business owner? Entrepreneur? Want to learn how online marketing can improve your business?
Your questions.
Our advice.
This is Not a Real Job.
Hello and welcome to episode 90 of Not a Real Job, a podcast that's supposed to be about things... What is it supposed to be about? How to turn the things you love to do into the things that make you money. My name is Joel Kelly, and I do marketing, advertising, online stuff from Nova Scotia, Canada, which is really like the worst place in the world right now. Well, actually, there's probably worse. You know what? Let me take that back. There are worse places. I'm being dramatic, but I don't like it here. Anyway, that's who I am, and I'm Chris Van Patten, and I web app out of Barcelona. That wasn't true. That wasn't Chris. That was still Joel. So you might be wondering what's going on. What kind of crazy situation would lead Joel to do such a terrific impersonation of Chris Van Wilder Patten? And I'll tell you what. You know, there is one place on this earth that's worse than Nova Scotia. And that place is Spain. And I know that seems harsh, but here's the problem with the Spanish people in general. They don't care about internet. It's just something, it never arrived. Well, it arrived late. I think they just got it a couple years ago. They still haven't figured out what it's useful for. So that means that the whole internet is distributed from home to home to internet cafe via a single thin copper wire. And if you connect to the copper wire and you're like, oh, you got good internet connection, but someone goes upstream of you and connects to the copper wire before it gets to you, they get all the internet. This is my understanding, at least based on the experience that Chris and I have had trying to record a podcast. All we're trying to do is send high definition audio across the world to each other instantaneously so that we can record a podcast. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated. And I don't know why it's such a problem. But that means you're stuck with me today because Chris is still in Spain. He's not in New York. And then even when he gets to New York, I guess he's going to Mexico or something after that. Who could say? So I don't think we're going to be able to record a real episode until he gets back, which is concerning. Anyway, I've got it under control. As you can tell, I know what I'm doing. I've done this before. What am I drinking, you ask? I actually haven't had a drink yet today, which is kind of unusual for me. But I'm burping still. Anyway, here's the issue. I'm doing a juice cleanse. I know it sounds crazy, but I really need to just rapidly lose some weight. It's been fun. I gotta say, it's been fun gaining weight over the past, 4 to 5 years at just an incredible pace. But I've decided now I'm turning 30 next year. I feel like I always thought my first heart attack would be in my 30s, and I'm just starting to get the sense that perhaps I was a little naive in my estimation of how much this flabby husk could handle. So I've decided to kind of rapidly lose some weight. And obviously, since I've been so negligent and irresponsible with my body to this point, when I finally do decide that I need to do something about it, I'm going to go about it in the most negligent and irresponsible way possible, which is really just cutting out all calories. Except for alcohol. See? I know. You're thinking, what a brilliant plan. Not consuming any solid foods or really any calories except for alcohol seems like the perfect diet. I know. So that's what I'm doing here. So what am I drinking, as you asked a while ago? I'm drinking the Hakushu single malt whiskey, aged 12 years. It's distilled at the... I'm butchering this, I know. Hakushu Distillery, surrounded by the forest at the foot of the southern Japan Alps. That's right, Japanese whiskey. You didn't think the Japanese had whiskey, and that makes you a terrible person, but it turns out they do. They're really good at it. They make some of the best whiskey in the world. That's what the Whiskey Bible said last year. The only Bible worth reading, if you ask me. Oof, that was probably too much. Anyway, so let's try it, and then we'll go through tasting notes. That was the sound of me smelling it. It's kind of smoky, but very sweet as well. Very appley, fruity, with, I would say, charred apples, honeysuckle, There is a peatiness to it. Not penis, peatiness. Smoke to it. Much more than I would have expected. Of course, like the Islay scotches are famous for their peatiness. Your Ardbegs, your Lagavulins, your Laphroaigs. Japan, as far as I know, maybe they're known for it as well. But definitely extremely fruity. Like very similar to like a Glenfiddich. I think the 15 is very fruity. Well, the 12 is quite fruity as well, but I think it's the 15. Extremely like apple caramely. So there's a bit of that in this, which I really enjoy. I used to be really big into your peaty scotches. I used to really enjoy the Islay scotches, and then I moved mostly into Highland, mostly into moving away from the peatiness and moving more into your I would say a mix of the oaky, the fruit, the flowery, the cinnamon, and those types of flavors. As you can tell, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but you know what? You're listening. Turn it off. I don't care. I do care. Don't turn. So anyway, great whiskey. Pick this up at the duty free in the Heathrow Airport, because you can't get this, as far as I know, anywhere in Canada, or at least nowhere that I go in Canada, and none of the places I've been in the States have had it as well. But they have it at the duty free in the Heathrow Airport in Terminal B, I believe, the Queen's Terminal. So anyway, check that out. What else is new? I'm supposed to... Okay, so here's what I told Chris I was going to do. I was just going to record an intro for an older episode. I might still do that. We might get around to it, but I thought I would just kind of rap for a bit. And just like, let's do a bit of a one-on-one. Just you, me. I get a boom arm for my microphone now, which is pretty cool, with a pop filter as well. A pop filter. You probably didn't hear those P's. You just heard op filter, because of the up filter that I've got on my microphone now. So that's pretty sweet. Chris and I were going to talk about this app that we're working on together, but I should probably wait until he's here to talk about that. But it's going to be pretty cool. It's basically maybe the coolest app that you've ever downloaded. So stay tuned. At some point, we'll make an announcement on that. You'll probably see it on Twitter. I got an iPhone 6 Plus. So last episode, which I believe, what was that called? Crunch or Crunching or something? We talked about the fact that I smashed my iPhone 6 to bits. So I picked up a 6 Plus, and so far I'm loving it. It's big, but the camera's great. The extra screen it's not replacing my iPad. I have an iPad Air 1. If I had an iPad mini, I could feel like this phone would replace it, but I still do like the larger form factor of my iPad for what I do with it, which is mostly reading, like Stellar.io and things like that. So the 6 Plus hasn't replaced my iPad yet, but I do really enjoy it, and I recommend it. I did a talk in London. That's why I was in London. We did those 3 episodes recorded in London, like the live episodes where we were actually in person. And I was over there because I gave a talk. A client of ours, a cruise line client, partnered with TTG, the Travel Trade Gazette, to do a seminar on social media for travel agents. So I did a presentation, that was about social media trends ostensibly, but I took it more into an advertising 101 kind of discussion about positioning, about branding, about marketing, and how, the keys to it all are really, if you want to get better about social media, you should get better about advertising. So that was pretty exciting. We got a great 2-page write-up in the Travel Trade Gazette, which is, kind of like the biggest travel media publication in the UK. So that was exciting. And then last week, last week? What week is it? Yeah, last Thursday we were in New York, and we launched, again for the same cruise line client, we did the first virtual reality cruise experience that's ever been put on. So we had recorded on the ships fully 360-degree footage that was stitched together, and then we put it using the Oculus Rift headsets, the DK2s, but the footage will be good on whatever new models of headsets come out. And yeah, we took about 200 top travel agents and travel media, I think, who was there. Associated Press was there, Lonely Planet, Business Insider, and a bunch of others, put on the headsets and experienced the first 360-degree virtual reality cruise experience that's ever been done. So that was pretty cool. So lots of exciting things have been happening work-wise for me. As well, May 12th, I believe, is the official release date of my book that we've talked about a lot, Scolding the Wind. So I'll let you know when you guys can grab that. Hopefully you will all check it out. It's very exciting. With all the work stuff that I've been doing, I'm not going to say I forgot about it, but it's definitely not been the top thing in my mind. So for that to be coming out so soon is extremely exciting. What else is there? It's got to be something else. Well, this app, I guess, is the other big thing. Been doing a lot of reading. So in the last, slide of my talk, I kind of gave a reading list. So if you want to learn more about advertising, here's my reading list, which you should really check out. Predatory Thinking by Dave Trott, Ogilvy on Advertising by David Ogilvy, Positioning the Battle for Your Mind by Jack Trout and Al Rees, and sure I had another one in there. Anyway, there's a bunch of others. Check out The Art of Client Service. That's a great book. And there's many, many others that you should read. Oh, of course, Scientific Advertising by Claude C. Hopkins, a book about which David Ogilvy said you should not be allowed to have anything to do with advertising until you've read that book 7 times. So check that out as well. So we're 11 minutes in here. We'll probably slap an episode onto the end of this if Chris and Steve think there's anything worthwhile here. But basically that's the update. Internet sucks. Spain is the worst. Nova Scotia is not much better. It's finally spring has arrived. I would love to say that spring has arrived here, but it really hasn't. Weather in Halifax. Let's see what the temperature is. It's 43 degrees here right now. 6 degrees Celsius. We were in New York last week, as I said, so we stayed the weekend. It was just so beautiful there. It's how other people live, right? It's just here's the thing. If your weather is worse than Eastern Canada's, send us a note, hit us up on Twitter. I'd really love to hear about it. Because I want some commiseration. Yeah, I'm gonna say commiseration. So, gear picks. Let's see what I've ordered recently that you should order as well. Got the Polaroid Cube HD 1080p lifestyle action video camera. That's pretty cool. I might put that on there. Yeah, let's do that. So it's basically a GoPro, except it's $100, made by Polaroid, and it's super easy to use, and it's like adorably tiny, and it doesn't come with a bunch of accessories, but you can get lots of accessories like a waterproof case, a suction, thing for a bike and things like that. So check that out. Housekeeping. Go to notarealjob.com, notarealjob.com/iTunes, rate and review us. Twitter.com/NargCast, Twitter.com/Joel Kelly, Twitter.com/Chris Van Patten. Chris usually does the rest of these. I think we're on Stitcher, but I don't know how you can find us there. Facebook.com/NotARealJob. Other podcasts to check out. If you're not listening to Accidental Tech Podcast, I think you really should be. That's a great show with Marco Arment, Casey Liss, and John Siracusa. That's been a fantastic show, especially recently with all the new Apple announcements. They've been good. And those guys are funny. They're very human, very approachable. Make sure you listen after their theme song at the end. Apparently a lot of people didn't know that there's like an after show that sometimes goes on as long as the official show after their theme song. So listen to that afterwards. I think that'll probably about do it. I apologize again that you didn't have Chris here. He's obviously the smart and funny one, and instead you just got the ramblings of a fat man on a juice cleanse. So that must have been interesting for you. Anyway, keep it up, do a good job, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.